am author Dianna Gunn, and today I'm here to give you a few tips on how to stay motivated on your 2018 goals through February and beyond. I'm making this video today because there's some pretty scary statistics out there about New Year's goals and resolutions. In fact, 80% of people fail on their New Year's resolutions by February, and according to some studies, as few as 8% of people actually succeed in their resolutions at the end of the year and feel like they've been successful. So, how can you avoid falling into the same trap of February failure that 80% of the population falls into every single year? Well, I've got a few ideas. Strategy number 1, reframe your New Year's resolutions as goals. The term New Year's resolutions actually sets us up for failure because we already know and have known for many years that 80% of people fail their New Year's resolution. So if we make a New Year's resolution and we fail it, it's not such a big deal. That just means we're like the other 80% of the population who failed this year. So whatever, we're just being average. And that's okay, right? But no, failure doesn't become okay just because it happens to other people too. Failure only becomes okay when you actively take the time to learn from it. And yeah, once in a while that might mean realizing that the goal or resolution you set for yourself was crazy and you can't accomplish it and you do have to give it up, but 9 times out of 10, it just means you have to change how you're approaching things. And if you don't take the time to do that and learn from your mistakes, that's when you have the bad kind of failure. That's when you're just giving up and going back to living your average, boring life when you could be out there accomplishing your dreams. The other problem with the term resolutions is that we tend to associate it with the kind of nebulous goal that inherently can't be met. So many New Year's resolutions are just vague things like, oh, I want to be healthier in 2018, or I want to lose weight, but there's no specific number, or I want to be more successful, but there's no real definition of success there, or any measurable steps to get there. And so people inevitably give up on these goals because they don't actually know where they're going. They don't have any way to track their success or celebrate their success because they don't know what they're doing. And it's just a terrible cycle that leads them to fail and give up year after year after year, and to believe that they can never really accomplish the thing when they could if only they really took the time to specifically define what that thing they want is. So I want you to take any resolutions that you have and turn them into a list of goals instead, and make sure that each one has specific measurable steps for you to take towards achieving that goal, so that when you actually accomplish something, you'll know you've accomplished it, you'll be able to celebrate, and you'll be able to use that celebration as motivation to keep going. Alright, so now that we have transformed your resolutions into goals that you can actually achieve, let's move on to step number 2. Make sure you are actually tracking and celebrating every single success, no matter how small it is. And this is particularly important if you're struggling with self-hatred, self-doubt, self-criticism, all of that stuff. It is so much easier to deal with that when you have a proven track record of everything you've accomplished. And you can just go, hey, self-doubting mind, look at all these things I've already done. Now tell me again how I can't do this next thing. One of the easiest ways to make sure that you're tracking every single success, no matter how big or small it is to sit down at the end of every day and reflect on your day and create a what I've accomplished list. This is exactly what it sounds like, a list of every single thing you have done that day. And you can decide to make it literally every single thing you've done that day, from showering and brushing your teeth and getting out of bed, although maybe not in that order, to actually going to work and accomplishing whatever you did at work, and then your creative goals after work. It can include all of that, or you can decide that, personal hygiene isn't really something you think about, it's just sort of automatic, and so you don't really count it as an accomplishment and it cannot be on your list. But I really recommend, especially if you are struggling with depression, that you include every single thing you've done that day on your list, so that you can go through it and you can have a big list and you can go, wow, I did a lot today. And I personally have found this a really powerful way to cheer myself up, especially because, after a while you have a huge stack of. Alright, so that got kind of soapboxy, so I'm just gonna move on to my strategy number 3, and that is to create minimum and maximum goals for February and the coming months. This is something that I've done at first because I was struggling with a repetitive strain injury, and now because I'm struggling with pretty severe insomnia, and that's been something that I've struggled with on and off for most of my life. And so my minimum goal is basically the bare minimum that I want to accomplish that day, or that I have to accomplish that day to, stay alive and pay my bills and stuff. My maximum goals, on the other hand, are the things that I will accomplish if nothing unexpected happens and my insomnia evens out a bit and I have all the time and energy to sit at my computer and just create. And usually what this looks like in practice is my minimum goal will be something like 300 to 500 words or 3 to 5 pages if I'm editing of fiction, and then my maximum goal will be 1,500 to 2,000 words of fiction. And most days I will end up somewhere in the middle, but if I'm feeling really down and I only hit my minimum goal, that's okay, because that was really all I absolutely 100% expected of myself that day, so I have no reason to beat myself up about it. If I hit my maximum goal, I have every reason to celebrate. So take a look through your goals and ask yourself, are these reasonable? And if you're not really sure on the answer, or you're like, that's kind of an outright no based on my current situation and my health situation or whatever it is, if you're not sure or it's a no, please make that goal list your maximum goal list and create a minimum goal list. Your minimum goal list should be working towards the same things, the same ideal life as your maximum goal list, but in a smaller, more achievable way over a longer period of time. This way, you're still always working towards your deepest desires, but you're not working so hard that you're going crazy, and you're gonna be okay with yourself and not feel like a failure if you get sick or you have to deal with other unexpected surprises and you can't achieve your maximum goals. Alright, so those are my 3 strategies for staying motivated through February and beyond. If you found these strategies helpful, or you know important strategies that I've missed here, please do let me know in the comments section below. I absolutely love hearing from you, and I think we have a lot to learn from each other. If you want more practical advice on how to live a happier, more creative, and more successful life, do subscribe, and I will see you next Monday.